Welcome everybody, and thank you for being here with us today. My name is Matteo Grisanti. I'm the LAUMAS R&D manager, and today I will be your moderator. Okay, after this brief introduction, it's time to start. I yield the floor to my colleague, Mr. Pietro Brottoli, who is going to be the speaker of this meeting.
Okay, thank you very much, Matteo. Even from my side, welcome to everybody, and thank you for being here with us today. So, as we can see in the slide, today we are going to show you our solutions for Weighbridge applications. The goal of this webinar is showing you all the options that we can propose you, both for simple and more complex application in terms of track scales, in order that you can choose which products offering to your customers according to their specific needs. First of all, please take note that we do not produce complete weighbridges, including the frames. And we do not do installations on site, because this is your part of the game. What we can do is providing all the components to realize a track scale. So we can offer you the load cells, junction boxes, weight indicators, remote displays, printers, and a brand new PC software for the Weighbridge management. Today, I will show you three possible different solutions that we have named for an easier understanding: basic, advanced, and versatile. So, we can start from the most simple ones, and this is the typical configuration of a classical track scale. So, in this case, we have analog load cells, a junction box, a weight indicator with a basic software with specific functions for weighbridges, remote displays, printer, and traffic lights. For this kind of solution, we have considered three different types of analog load cells: the model CO, COK, and COL, that differ for mechanical dimensions, constructive materials, and accuracy class. Then, regarding the junction box, we considered two main options: a classical analog junction box with trimmers for the equalization, which is available in ABS plastic or in stainless steel, or, as alternative, our smart junction box model CLM8, again available in ABS or stainless steel housing. I will describe you the main features and the advantages of the CLM8 later. Last but not least, for such simple and basic applications, we considered our simple Weighbridge indicators series WTAB and WINOX BL-BR. The WINOX is stainless steel made, while the WTAB is made with a plastic housing and can integrate as option on request a printer. We can say that this kind of configuration is really simple and cost-effective, and certainly it is one of the most popular that you can find on the market. Now we can switch to the second solution that we are going to analyze, and is the one that we have called advanced. For this kind of configurations, we considered two options, A and B. The A configuration is composed by our brand new digital load cells model COD, combined directly with our advanced Weighbridge indicators series BGE, and by our remote display with integrated traffic lights. Later, during the presentation, we will describe you the main feature of both products. But what we can say now is that the main advantage of this kind of configuration is given by the stability and the security of the weight signal, because the communication is via RS485 and not in millivolt volts. And the other advantages are given by the simplicity of the wiring, because COD are equipped with two connectors so that you can connect it in daisy chain, and there's no need of a junction box. Last but not least, this kind of system grants advanced diagnostic features for the complete track scale and for the single load cells. The advanced configuration, called B, is composed by classical analog load cells, by a smart junction box CLM8, the BGE weight indicator, and remote display with integrated traffic lights. The load cell models that we propose for this configuration are same as the ones that we are offering for the basic solution. So we have the models CO, COK, and COL. Then we have considered to install our smart junction box model CLM8 connected to the BGE weight indicator. The strength of this configuration is the opportunity to have, thanks to the CLM8, advanced diagnostic features that are usually granted by digital load cells only. If we compare it with a system with digital load cells, the wiring is a bit more complex, but at the same time, analog load cells are more cost-effective than digital ones, and any load cell model of any brand is compatible with the CLM8 combined with the BGE indicators. Now we can check at the third solution that we called versatile. And again, we propose two options, A and B. The versatility of these solutions is mainly given by our brand new software for track scales called Prog W Bridge. The first configuration is composed by analog load cells and a smart junction box model CLM8 connected via Ethernet TCP/IP to the software Prog W Bridge and via serial communication to a remote display. Possibly, you can also connect external cameras that are not supplied by LAUMAS. This kind of configuration is very simple and extremely versatile because, as we will see later, our new software grants advanced features and opportunities that cannot be offered by our indicators. Just a side note about this kind of setting. Keep in mind that if the Weighbridge is approved for legal for trade applications, the CLM8 needs to be visible because according to OEML regulations, it has to be the primary indicator of the weight. This is because the software itself is not OEML approved. The option B is composed by analog load cells, a smart junction box CLM8, and a standard weight indicator without specific software for track scales, connected via serial communication to the PC software called Prog W Bridge, to a printer and to a remote display. For this kind of application, we recommend to install simple weight indicators for desk installation, as for example our WINOX or WTAB L or R. If you choose this option, you have diagnostic functions on the weight indicator, all the advantages given by the management via PC software, And installing the indicator, you have the primary indicator of the weight positioned on your desk. So, in case that the PC program fails, for example, it can act as spare wheel. I repeat once again that the indicator has to be a standard one, so not one with a track scale software, because in this system, the master of puppets managing everything is the Prog W Bridge. Okay, sorry. Now, after checking at the possible complete solution, we can try to analyze the specific components and the new products one by one. We can start from the first new product, which is our digital load cell model COD, and we can check at its main features. So this kind of load cell is OIML approved in class C5, so up to 5,000 divisions. The protection class is IP69K, and the capacities available are 25 and 50 tons. As I told you before, the connection to the indicator is via RS485. Again, as I said you before, the load cell has two connectors and two connection cables which are included. And the cables are anti-rot ones. A real strength of this kind of load cell is given by the double connector. As you probably know, there are many digital load cells for track scales on the market, but I can say that the main part of them have just a common cable output or just one connector. The advantages of the two connectors is that you are allowed to daisy chain these load cells, the load cells, sorry. And this is a great advantage because it simplifies the wiring and reduces the times and the costs for the installation. There is no need of a junction box, and if a load cell fails, the replacement is very easy because you can just disconnect the connector, install the new load cell and reconnect again to start working. Another strength of digital load cells is given by the safety and the stability of the signal, because the connection is via RS485, so it is immune from electromagnetic disturbances. These load cells are compatible with BGE weight indicators, and the communication protocol is protected with specific passwords. So we can say that the customers are chained to you in case they need spare parts or assistance. Last but not least, the COD load cells grant advanced diagnostic functions, as for example the detection of damages, the digital equalization, and the visualization of the load distribution in percentage on the BGE weight indicator connected to it. The second component that we can check is the smart junction box called CLM8. Probably many of you already know it, but for those who are not familiar with this kind of product, we can describe it shortly. So, it is available as naked board, or in a plastic ABS box, or in a stainless steel box, according to your need. It is a real weight transmitter with 8 independent input channels. It has a display and a keypad for the calibration, and it can communicate via RS232, 485, or via Ethernet TCP/IP to a LAUMAS indicator or to a PC software. The CLM8 has several useful advanced functions. For example, it has the diagnostic on the input channels and enables you to identify immediately if all the load cells are well working. And if there's a problem on the channel, you get an alarm on the display indicating which channel has something wrong. When you receive this kind of error, you can do, for example, the millivolt input test to check the signal received by the single load cells and try to understand what's wrong. And at the same time, you can also perform the verification of the load distribution in percentage on the single channels. Moreover, the CLM8 can do the digital equalization of the scale. To perform it, it's enough placing the test weights in different positions in correspondence of the load cells. Completed the calibration round with test weights, the equalization will be executed automatically and with a great accuracy. And now we can start checking at the weight indicators, trying to describe the common features and the special characters of the different versions. To do that, we can start from the hardware and start with indicator series BLBR. So, these indicators are especially designed for basic weighbridges and are available with a red LED or an LCD display. They have a standard onboard 3 serial outputs that can be used for the connection to remote displays, to smart junction boxes, and to PC. Then they have 2 logic inputs and 4 relay outputs that could be used, for example, to manage the traffic lights. Then we can check the hardware of the BGE. So the advanced indicators series W Inox and W Tab BGE have as standard a graphic display, an alphanumeric extended keypad, 4 serial outputs, so we have 2.232 and 2 RS485, 1 Ethernet TCP IP port, 2 USB ports, and then we have 3 inputs and 5 relay outputs. In this slide, we can see the 2 models. So we have the basic ones, series BLBR, on the left of our slide, and the advanced ones, the BGE, on the right. In the center of the slide, we can see the common features, and on the right side, we can see the special features available for the BGE only. We can start from the common features. So, both series are compatible with the Smart Junction Box CLM8 and can manage all the features available on the CLM8. It means that you can perform the digital equalization, check at the load distribution, and monitor any alarm directly from the display of the indicator, and there's no need of checking physically at the CLM8 that usually is closed inside the scale. Both versions have an integrated database. The simple ones, BL and BR, have a simple database where you can register up to 999 preset pairs, while the BGE has a more complete one where you can memorize up to 500 license plates, product names, customer names, and operators. Both models can be connected to our remote displays, which are available with and without integrated traffic lights. Then both models are compatible with printers, of course. And regarding the printers, as LAUMAS, we can offer 2 solutions. We have our model Staff T2, which is 32 column printer for desk installation. And then we have the Model Plus 2, which is a 24 column printer that can be integrated directly in the W-tab. All of our Weighbridge indicators are also compatible with Epson printers as the TMU295 and the LX300, and for example with the custom printer Cube 2. Both the RBR indicators and BGE can manage traffic light functions through the relay output and can be connected to a PC via serial communication. And now we can check at the specific characters of the series BGE that during the last years have been completely renewed in terms of graphics and interfaces. As we have seen before, the BGE have a standard and Ethernet TCP/IP port for the connection to a PC or to a network. It also has two USB ports that can be used for the connection to a barcode reader, for the connection to an external keyboard, or to save data on a USB key. Thanks to his graphic display, it can manage several languages. It has a standard on board, English, Spanish, French, obviously Italian, and a fifth language that is settable by the user. So you can set your own language according to your needs and to the market where you work. And the last product we'll deepen is the second news of this presentation. So our PC software called Prog W Bridge. Thanks to this software, we are finally able to offer you a full package for Weighbridge applications, because it can manage some special features, as for example the management of two Weighbridges, a shared database, and customizable printouts. And these are all functions that cannot be managed by our indicators. In the next slides, we will check these features one by one. So, to use this software, of course, you will need a license that will be associated to the PC where you are going to install it. The connection to a LAUMAS device, a simple weight indicator or a smart junction box CLM8, is via Ethernet TCP/IP or via serial communication. Through the Ethernet TCP/IP network, the software can also acquire images from the cameras. And these images, for example, can be added to the printout or to the memorization of the weight data. It also has a local database that can be used, for example, when you have a system composed of two Weighbridges connected to the same software. And it has a remote database that can be used to share it between more scales and software. The last feature is the possibility of customizing the printouts according to the specific needs of your customers. To do that, we use a software called Crystal Report that you can purchase online on your own. And now that we are getting closer to the end of this presentation, we can check at some simple schemes describing the functioning of our Weighbridge indicators and of our software Prog W Bridge. The first functioning, or the first mode that we will check, is the single weighing. In this case, as we can see in the slide, an empty truck already registered in our database arrives on the site. After loading the material, it goes on the track scale, and we can visualize on the display the total gross weight. By pressing Out button, we select the preset tare weight of that specific truck, and then we can visualize the net weight that we have loaded. On the contrary, if the truck arrives on the site full and needs to be unloaded, it goes on the weighbridge. We see the gross weight on the display, and by pressing in and selecting the predetermined tare weight, we can see the net weight that has been unloaded. The second mode of functioning is the double weighing. In this case, we haven't registered a predetermined tare weight in the database. Or, for example, we have a new truck that is not available in the database. And so, in this case, the double weighing is the right choice for the right functioning method. The truck goes on the weighbridge, and by pressing in button, the indicator assigns automatically an ID to the weighing. The truck loads or unloads material, and then, completing the operation, goes back to the scale. By pressing Out and selecting the ID associated to that truck, we can close the weighing. Obviously, if the difference between in and out is major, it means that the truck has been loaded. If minor, that it has been unloaded. So this is the function that you need to use and to select in case that a truck is not registered in our database. The third mode that we will see is the multiple weighing. In the example in our slide, we have a truck with 3 separate compartments to be loaded with 3 different products. So our truck goes on the scale. By pressing in and selecting the functioning multi, the indicator associates an ID to the weighing. The truck loads the first product and then goes back to the weighbridge. We press Out, select the open ID and confirm. We do this operation, the same operation, for the second and for the third product. In the end, by pressing Out and selecting again multi, we close the multiple weighing. And now we can take a look at the special features of the program Prog W Bridge. The first character that we can see in the slide is the capability of managing a single weighbridge from 2 separate control stations. So, installing 2 licenses and sharing the database, the track scale can be managed from any control station without any problem. The second character is the possibility of managing 2 separate weighbridges from a unique control station. We could say that, for example, a factory has 2 track scales, one at the entrance gate and one at the exit. Connecting 2 indicators to the same PC, installing the Prog W Bridge, it will be possible opening a weighing at the entrance gate and closing it at the exit on the second scale. So this functionality is very useful in some specific applications, and it is really time saver because the truck doesn't need to go back to the first scale. The third special feature of the Prog W Bridge is the capability of handling several weight bridges, all connected to a unique and shared database. In this case, every weighing needs to be opened and closed on the same scale. But the database, including products, license plates, operators, customers, and so on, is unique, and so it is easier for the management, especially when you have a big company or a big factory with many weight bridges installed. Okay, basically I would say that that's it. So the presentation of this range of products is completed, and now it's time for the questions time. So if you have any question or doubt, just ask in the chat, and me and Matteo will be pleased to try to answer you.
Thank you, Pietro, for your presentation. Okay, in the meantime, we received the first questions.
Okay.
The first one is from Ritesh.
Okay.
And he asks if our indicators are OEML approved.
Of course they are. All of them are OEML approved, even the load cells. And then I don't know if it's enough the OEML approval for the indicator and for the load cells, or if you need national approvals. But in general, if you have the OEML ones, you can easily obtain your national approval according to your local regulations.
Okay, thank you, Pietro. Now he had another question from Jeremy. He's asking, are there options for multiple deck weighbridges? These are used here to determine axle group mass and the total vehicle mass. Actually, at the moment we don't have this kind of solution. Our weighbridge solutions work with single weighing point composing the platform. But maybe in the future we developing and extending our range of products for weighbridge solutions. We will think to develop also solutions to work in axle configuration. And then another question from Krishnadas about our PROGWBRIDGE software. What about the software license if PC changed to new? Okay, actually, in this case, you need to change the license because the license code generated anytime you enable a software installation on your PC is created using some numeric codes related to the hardware components of your PC. So if you need to change the machine, you need a new license. For economical aspects, maybe Pietro can give you more details about to manage this kind of solution, this kind of condition.
Yes, of course. You know, this presentation is not the right place to talk about prices or something like that, but as Matteo said, if the PC fails, you need to get a new license. And then, of course, if it happens, usually the lifetime of PCs is quite long, but if it happens, we can talk about it and we can find a solution together.
Okay, thank you, Pietro. Another question from Mr. Pang about the code digital load cells. Connecting cable must, substantially he asks if the connecting cable has to be ordered from LAUMAS or it can be realized by the installer themselves. Actually, in the kit of the code load cell, a specific cable is already comprised, and it is a cable with two connectors that can be used for the load cell to load cell connection. And also we will make available a specific cable 20 meters long, that with a single connection or better, a connector to one end and the wirings to the other end that can be used for the connection between the scale and the BGE indicators that will be interfaced to the load cells. At the moment, we have not the option to give you the connectors because we hope the kit and the bus cable, 20 meters long, are sufficient to your requests for your applications in order also to make easier for you the installation of all the system, having already ready all the cables. Another question from Mr. Frankie Simaremare. Hello there, is there any trial or demo version for the software? And do you have a design layout for the Weighbridge platform and structures?
Regarding the frames, you know, we do not produce it. It is not our part of the game, as I said in the beginning. So we haven't drawings to send you about that. Our job is to realize good load cells and good indicators, and then you have to take care of the frame. So we cannot support you on regarding this side of the business. If necessary, we can put you in contact with any of our customers producing and realizing frames for Weighbridges. And so you can interface you directly with them to get the frames from them. And the other part of the question, Matteo?
It was about a demo version for the software. Maybe we can create some temporary licenses to be used as trial to make you evaluate all the characteristics of our software.
Yes, basically we can say that on the manual you can find all the information about the software and its functioning. But of course, if you need to get a demo version, we didn't think about it, but we can work on it. It's nothing complicated, you know.
Yes, very well. Okay, another question, always about, about the PROGWBRIDGE software. From Mr. Prosant, does your software offer integration with RFID or position sensors? Actually, no. Currently, our PROGWBRIDGE software offers the possibility to interface the software to webcams or HTTP cameras to be used to take photos of the truck during the weighing operations and to be saved in the internal databases with the data, with the weight data associated to the executed operations. But at the moment, we are not able to manage RFID or position sensors. But if you have any kind of suggestions about possible use or functionalities that will be or could be useful for your applications, please feel free to send us emails with this kind of suggestions because they are very useful for us to develop always better products. Okay. Another questions from Mr. Marco Tupuzzi, in this case about our digital load cells. With digital sensors, the calibration of the weighing plant is done with weight standard Italians, or is there an easier way? Okay, actually, the use of digital load cells doesn't change in any way the calibration solutions offered by our product. So also using digital load cells, you always have to use a sample weights for to obtain the precision required by your application, for example, or to correct slightly differences in gain or offset.
Yes, I'd like to add to this answer that you can perform a theoretic calibration, but we all know that a theoretic calibration is not perfect, and the 99% of the scales, of the track scales that we sell and install are for legal for trade applications, and the OIML regulations are very clear about that. So you have to apply test weight and check and verify the good functioning.
Thank you, Pietro, for the clarification. Okay. In the meantime, we have another question from Mr. Pang about code. Is the code load cell come with calibration certificate from factory?
Well, no, because there is, of course, we have to, we set the communication protocol on the load cell. The load cell is tested. The load cell has the OIML approval included with that, and this should be enough.
Yeah. Yes. Also because the code load cells is intended as a component of the weighing system. Let's say that the weight placed on the scale will be always calculated in any way by the indicator, using the weight components generated by the different load cells installed under the scale. Okay, another question by Mr. Simaremare about the software. Does it also come with multi-language? If does, could it be programmable, configurable to a native language, for example, Indonesian, since many of our customers prefer a native language for setting parameters and reports? Okay, actually, the software is multi-language. But at the moment, we manage let's say, 4 main languages: Italian, French, Spanish, and English. Maybe talking about it with our sales department, so with Pietro or other sales guys, you can make your requests about languages personalization, and maybe we can work on it to realize a customizable version for the software.
Yes, of course, we can think about it. Obviously, we need your help in case that we will have to do this job, because we don't know Indonesian, and the translation or finding the right word is not so easy. So in case that it's needed, we will need your support to implement the correct terms in the software, because we haven't the knowledge to be able to check if we said or wrote something right or something wrong. But basically it is possible.
Okay, thank you, Pietro. Okay, another question about Mr. Krishnadas regarding load cell cables. If any special case comes, can we get flame-proof cables?
Well, we haven't flame-proof cables.
Yeah.
For the load cell. The load cell is an anti-rat one, because usually when you install the track scale, very often it is outside in the countryside or where rats can come and attack the cables. But we haven't a flame-proof version. Honestly, I don't know if it exists, because we are not producers of cables. But again, all the suggestions for possible implementations are highly appreciated. So you can send your request, we can evaluate, we can check with our sub-vendors, with the suppliers of the components, and try to find out if there's a solution for this kind of need.
Okay, thank you, Pietro. Another question by Mr. Pierre B. Jode. Hello, dear. Can we connect the code to an existing digital indicator or only to your BGE? No, at the moment the BGE is the only instrument able to connect to be interfaced to our code load cell.
Yeah, I could add that usually producers of digital load cells for track scales and indicators for that combine their products to propose and to offer their products together. So usually you can find digital load cells with open protocols just from companies that do not produce the electronics. If they produce both, they will give you both without the possibility of connecting different indicators.
Okay, thank you, Pietro.
If you have no more questions, we could say that the webinar is completed. That's all that we had to say. Thank you very much for your participation and for your attention. And I hope to see you soon. Thank you.
Thank you all. Bye.